And not only are you listening to the Mother Love Show, you're getting to see the Mother Love on camera. Like I didn't want to scare the young people and the senior citizens. So I put on some pretty today. Hey, everybody. It's the even more fabulous Mother Love coming to you live and in living color, as opposed to coming to you dead and in black and white. Well, it's been a lot. There's a lot going on every day. It's like one thing stops and then something else goes on. I mean, we finally got a speaker in the house, and I don't know what bottom of what barrel they scraped this guy up and said, "Okay, we want to make you the speaker." Now they got a Republican who hates everything. He hates women. He thinks women should be, just be forced to have a pregnancy that they don't want. He thinks that, he want to just bust up the whole system like all of the GOP wants to do. So I guess they got a guy who they felt like would do their bidding. And here they are, and all kind of crazy stuff is going on. He said guns were not the problem. This is after there was a serial killer that went through Maine and slaughtered 18 people and then killed himself. And he said guns weren't the problem. He got the guns legally. He got the guns fair. It wasn't the guns problem. It's the human heart. Really? That's what you going on? It's the human heart? That sounds just like that crazy stuff that DeSantis was talking about. Well, we don't want anybody to be woke. We want everybody to stay asleep. Okay. And slaves, they learned to trade during slavery, so slavery wasn't that bad. I'm like, really? This is what you're riding on? And you want to get the 45th back in office, and you can't tell that he is turning into he looked like he having signs of dementia. I'm telling you, and I've seen it in people. It gradually starts changing, and he didn't have a lot to hold on to, as far as his mettle, as far as his trustworthy was concerned. So he seems like he's having a really bad decline. And then they go find this younger guy, Mike Johnson, and he's decided that he's just going to gut everything. We're going to gut Social Security. We're going to gut Medicare. We're going to gut Medicaid. We're going to cut the SNAP program. But listen to this. We got to pay the price for all these rich people that are in the top 1% that don't pay their fair share of taxes. Because if they did, we probably wouldn't be in a financial burden anyway. But no, they don't have to pay their fair share of taxes. We got to, take short of the tax burden. They want to take away daycare, childcare. And as hard as it is and as expensive as childcare is, I mean, I don't even understand how, okay, we're supposed to be the United States of America, and we are not living up to that. We're not united on all fronts, and we're never going to be all united on all fronts because most of us are free thinking people, which the GOP doesn't want us to be. They don't want us to think free. They don't want us to think smart. They don't want us to think for ourselves, to think through our circumstances. These men want to tell women what to do and where they can work. I mean, it's bad enough that women, are getting, there's such a pay discrepancy between what a man gets, compared to what a woman, and they doing the same job, and we don't get paid the same rate. I remember when I first got out here, well, I've been out here for a minute, and I was on the radio, and it was time for contract negotiations. Well, it really wasn't. They just said that that's what they wanted to do, but they want to ask you before your contract is up. Okay, so I said, okay. So then they said, I said, we're going to negotiate this, right? Yeah. And I said, one of the guys had just got a really, really good deal. And so I was like, okay, I've been here longer than he has, and I've proven my mettle. I've gotten my numbers up. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and loving every minute of it. And then they said, well, what is your counter offer? I said, I don't even, all I want is $5 more than that other guy got. $5. I didn't say 500, 5,000, 5 million, 5. I said $5. And they told me no. They told me no. I was like, really? I'm like, but well, you don't understand. If you weren't here, another man would take your job. And that's why how a lot of men think, if women weren't in the workforce, we'd have more men working. Why don't you have more men working now? I mean, we got a terrible homeless population. Some of them are able-bodied people, I'm sure. They just don't have the means to get to work. I mean, I know people that's working, poor working people, homeless working people. And I didn't think there were two worse words than homeless veteran and a homeless family. And they're working, the working poor, homeless working poor living in their car. But we want to give billions and billions to other countries, to other people, and do their bidding, and don't want to help our own people here. We don't want to make sure that we get the mental health care that so many people are needing. I mean, when you think about it, and you got to work, just watch the carnage on television. There is two brutal wars going on. And when you think about it, they're really fighting their own family. You think about it. Ukraine, before they broke away from Russia, they were all Russians. They just wanted to live independently. That's all. They wanted to have a democracy. Same thing over in Israel. And they just went over there and just bombed them, and you can't get mad at somebody for defending their home. Okay. But I could get mad at me at all of you all, because you're not defending our home. You're giving our resources away to people. And what are we getting for it? What are we getting for it? We're not getting anything. It's like they got a handful of gimme and a mouthful of much obliged. Yeah, just give it to me. I'm obliged to do it. You're not going to get anything for it. And we're bearing the brunt of that. We're seeing our educational system just in tatters. And don't even get me started on the healthcare system. Oh, no, let me get started on the healthcare system. This is going to be, well, I'm not ranting and raving. I'm venting. Like a lot of you all call me up and we're venting. And sometimes you just need to get it off of your chest. Sometimes you just need to get it out. So it's out here, not all consuming in your being, messing up your chi and your joy. And it's so hard to see people suffering like they are suffering. I mean, I see people suffering in our own communities. I see people who are living in the bus shelters. I see people who are lined up to, get food from the food bank, and they have no place to cook it, and they actually sitting down eating raw potatoes. I see them eating onions. They have no place to, no place to go. And then when the pandemic hit, that messed up a whole lot of stuff, because the shelter stopped taking food. They stopped taking everything for a while. And, we're working to get back up to where we were. And I don't know that we will ever get back to where we were, because think about it. We lost 1 million people to the pandemic, and so many more are still suffering from what they call long COVID. So people are getting sicker. The resources are getting more scant. I mean, I was looking at the news the other day and watching the people that have been run out of their homes, the only homes that they know. And they've been run out, they've been bombed, the children are being killed on all sides. It's like we have no regard for human life anymore. And we can't be like that. None of us will survive like that, and none of us, okay, I say this often, none of us are coming out of life alive. Why are we continuing to shorten our lives doing, crazy, disgruntled things, being mad at somebody because they said something, you looked at you wrong, you don't like the way you don't like the way they're looking at you, and all kind of just petty things, and it's like, it's so unnerving to see suffering in our own families and our own communities, and watching the resources go out to other countries. And I'm all for helping our fellow man. I really am. I can't help you if I'm not well, if I'm not strong, if I'm not focused, if my foundation is not solid. How can I help you when I don't even help myself? And I have to help myself first. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. And we're not preserving ourselves for even the long haul, for however long you will be allotted the time on this planet, in this space where we are now. Why? It just boggles me that see, because it takes so much energy. It takes so much energy to keep hate and malice and pettiness and anger and envy. That just listen, I got tired just saying that. It's when do we no, when do we do it? We can start today. It's like when people make New Year's resolutions, December 31st, and say, for the new year, I'm going to lose weight. And by the time the 5th of January gets here, we all off the plan. That's why I stopped making New Year's resolutions. Because why not start today? Why not say, this is the day I will put forth and make a good effort, a positive effort to change the way I think because it's negative, to change the people that I'm around because they're toxic, to change my circumstances. And if you can't change the situation, change your attitude about it. You don't have to just walk through life, looking all drugged down, and people see you coming, they go, oh Lord, here she come. And you got to kind of get your batten down your hatches because it's going to be some kind of drama. And some people like that. Some people, they just like drama. Some people like holding on to grudges. Some people can be angry for years and years, and it gets so bad they forgot what they're mad about. They forgot what the person did. Well, why you still mad at your Uncle June? Well, uh then they don't forgot why they mad at Uncle June. But they still keep the anger going. It just takes so much work. It takes so much out of your spirit to just be that angry all the time. And then you see things like what's going on in the world, and in a way I can understand it because nobody likes to be beat down. Nobody likes to be talked about, being ridiculed. Nobody likes to be told that, who do you think you are? Oh, you think you special. Oh, you think you somebody. Oh, yeah, you are special. You are somebody. You do belong to somebody. Even if you don't know who the somebodies are, we didn't just fall out the sky like they used to lie and tell children where babies came from. Oh, the stork dropped them off. Okay, only thing a stork gonna drop off is poop. So I was what kind of bird and how many birds do you need to drop babies off? Then they came up with babies came out the cabbage patch. And I was like, oh, so now when they find out that you're lying, how much of your credibility is going to go out the door? And I'm not saying, just be lying to people, be honest for the most part. Because somebody gonna tell a lie. We're gonna be Eli, tell a lie. And then oftentimes, especially with people that lie a lot, they can't keep up with them. They say one thing, and then the next day, it could be now in politics, they could say one thing in the morning, and by the afternoon, they say, I didn't say that. That's not what I meant. You misconstrued what I said. No, I didn't. I understand completely what you are saying. I do. I really do. And I am saying that we can be better than this. We can be smarter than this. We can make better choices. We're not better than any other human being. The only thing that separates us is knowledge. Oh yeah, and we have thumbs. And so when we take away that whatever kind of shield you have over you, I know it's a lot to let down your armor, to show that you are vulnerable, to show that things get to you, emotions get to you. I mean, for a while I literally had to stop watching the news. I literally had to stop watching the news. And this is I didn't think we were going to get to this place like this. I thought that the war in the Ukraine would have been over by now because we've been funneling money, and they still say they don't have enough. Then they shipped over tanks, and they're still saying it's not enough. And then the Hamas just jumped on Israel. I mean, I don't know what went through their head that they didn't think Israel was going to retaliate. And look at the carnage it has caused. And you got terrorists that they're saying are hiding behind women and children, the sick and the elderly. Now, if that don't say that's a chump, I don't know what does. I mean, can we just be real about this? They've been fighting over there in the Middle East over them patches of land for centuries. for centuries. I know they said Israel became a democracy and became a state in 1948. And I'm like, okay, if that didn't happen in 1948, how come Israel is mentioned in the Bible like 11 times? I just get confused. Sometimes I do get confused. Religion does kind of like boggle my mind because you could read one passage. You and I could read the same passage in the Bible, in the Quran, in any faith-filled book. We could read the same passage and get a different message. And I thought that was supposed to put us on one accord. But it doesn't. It breaks us up. It tells us, one group says, well, you need to do what we tell you to do. This is what we want you to do. You can have as many wives as you can take care. No, you can't. And not in this day and age. Are you kidding me? But if that's what you want to do, that's your culture. I don't have anything negative to say about that. Have as many wives as you can take care of. But how come if I want like multiple husbands, then I'm some sort of a trollop or, why can't I have as many husbands? If I want 8 husbands, okay. Because, really women only need 4 traits in a husband, and they just can't meet up with all 4 at the same time. You get one that got a good job, one that got a good pension, one that got good medical care, and and you want it all rolled up into one. But we need 4 or 5 husbands for that. And I don't understand how people can come over here. I mean, that's what they're supposed to be. You're supposed to come over here and bring your poor, your tired, your huddled masses yearning to be free. Okay, yearning to be free. Yearning to be free. Just let that marinate. It's yearning because we know that there are so many chinks in America's armor. And when we don't fix the chinks, when we're not ironing out smoothing out the metal, that it's just going to get deeper. It's just going to get worse. And it's getting worse. I mean, we've got states when the Supreme Court decided that, well, we're not going to really overturn Roe v. Wade that had been in place for 50 years that allowed a woman's right to choose to make her decisions about her health care. And so they always think Roe v. Wade is just about abortion, and it's not. It is not. That's a component of it, and a large component. Other components are, often these clinics would provide mammograms for people who couldn't afford them. They could offer birth control pills. They could offer condoms. They could offer sex education classes. They were offering, counseling. You could go and, if you decided that you pregnant and you want to terminate the pregnancy, or you might decide that you don't want to terminate the pregnancy. That's your choice. No man has a right to tell you what to do with your uterus, especially when they don't want us to tell them what to do with their junk. With their penises. That's what they want to do. They want to have control over our uterus and our lady parts. And I'm like, okay, you want us to do that? Well, we should have some control over yours. And you want to tell a woman what to do about a pregnancy that she does not want, or it's going to endanger her life and endanger her chances if she chooses to have children. What if they know, because, with ultrasound, they could tell if the baby is forming, properly, or if they're going to have, medical conditions, and sometimes, and now people always think women want to have an abortion when she 8, 9 months pregnant. No, they don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. See, I'm past my childbearing years. So that's when I say because I've been there, done that. So you can't tell people what to do, and then you don't want, okay. You had that baby. I don't care what happened. I don't care if you was raped. I don't care if it was incest. I don't care what it is. You get pregnant. That's it. You have you don't get to make a choice. Okay. Where's the responsibility of the guy who got her pregnant? Because I know y'all think we get pregnant by ourselves. Just doesn't happen like that. From what I understand, it was one immaculate conception. It was one, and he's on the throne right now. One immaculate conception. The rest of us came here by way of their mama. Plain and simple. They daddy put the baby in the belly, and the mama germinates and has the gestation period, and then the baby comes. And you think that child does not have the right to be well cared for? Does not have the right to be loved? Okay, you just can't do stuff like that and think that you're gonna that it's not going to be a responsibility. And then you say, well, the father, he ran off. So why do he get to run off? Why do he get to run off? I know several men, and you probably know several of them too, who have children all over the planet, all over the country, and don't take care of any of them. Don't take care of any of them. And then you want to dog out the men that do. You don't want to help them. What if she runs off? And because listen, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. Just because you can have a baby does not make you a parent. That is a skill set that is developed. I mean, because you don't get a handbook. Well, now you could get a handbook, but you usually don't get a handbook because all children are different. They're different, and they're the same because they all are looking to be nurtured. They are yearning for the nurturing. And when you see babies that don't get picked up and don't get cuddled, don't get nurtured, don't get fed, there's a term for it. It's called failure to thrive. And when you don't pay a baby and a child attention, something bad is going to happen. This is how you get kids that's out here vaping and doing all kind of drugs and or alcohol. You got young girls being trafficked because nobody is paying attention to them and what their needs are. And I done ran off like 15 minutes worth of stuff that we got wrong. Now, what about all the things that we have right? All the things that people do right, that the community does right. See, and they have good news apps out there. They have the news channels on TV will give you one good news story at the end of the broadcast. So we go, we get all of this mayhem, murder, and if it bleeds, it leads, and then you get another like 2-3 minutes of good news. So I'd rather have the 2 or 3 minutes of good news to send me off for the rest of my evening than it all be tragic and bad. I mean, I was looking at these kids are doing phenomenal work, and especially in the wake of a lot of carnage. The kids down in Parkland, Florida, remember that massacre? Those young people have mobilized a voting block and, getting young people 18 and over who are not registered voters to get them to vote. So to the point that people down in Florida, the politicians, are scared of the teenagers and the young people because they have a voice. And they're talking about, no, we want to raise the voting age from 18 to 24, 25 or something crazy like that. 18 years old, you could go into the military. Why can't at 18 years old, you have the right to vote for who will send you into battle? I don't get that. And there's still people that want to join the military, but then they're apprehensive because they feel like, when your government, you working for the government, you're in the military, and they're telling you, your politicians at home are telling you, well, we'll cut the butt. We won't pay the soldiers, but we'll pay for tanks. But we won't pay the people that need to, maintain the tanks and drive the tanks and, do what they're supposed to do, because now you don't want to pay them, but you don't want to pay your fair share in taxes. But we should just keep going along with this. See, people, I know a lot of people, are disgruntled with our political arena now. I'm disgruntled with our political arena. I'm disgruntled with the way that we Americans are not handling this well. We are not. We have still got a lackadaisical attitude. Well, I don't need to read what he is talking about. He just been in office forever, so I just vote for him again. And you get nothing. You think about it. What has Mitch McConnell done for his state that he can come and say, oh, I've done this, except take $200 million from some big czar to build an aluminum factory that never got built? See, that's the stuff they don't want you to know. That's why they put up all the white noise, because they don't want you to pay attention to these things. And they all affect you. They all affect all of us. Think about this. There's a $262 million student lunch debt. Okay, during the pandemic, when people weren't going to school or whatever, they would get the school lunches. And this is for working poor people and people that can't afford, to send them to school with lunch. So it's a $262 million deficit that the government won't forgive, won't wipe out, won't just say, Well, we're just because it's a stupid plan. Why would you have a child have the burden on their back and say, "Well, do I go to school and I stay hungry, or do I stay home so I can eat?" See, these are the choices that people down here have to deal with every single day. What if one of your children has a chronic condition? Asthma is on the rise. Oh, now they're telling us the kids have toxic shock syndrome, where there's so much stress on them from 0 to 5 years old that it's building up in their bodies and it's causing them, different kind of hormonal changes because these kids are under stress. It makes no sense for a child to be under stress. We know how jacked up that feels for us, and we're adults. We're supposed to be the adults in the room. We're supposed to be the ones that can make the sound, solid decisions, not the ones that just throw our hands up and that's it. They'll fend for themselves. Put a device in front of them and just, a bowl of cereal and some milk and just tell them to stay out of my face. I don't feel like doing this. And these kids are going hungry. They're waking up hungry. When you're waking up hungry, and you are not able to break your fast until maybe later on in that day because there's no food at home. And even if it is food at home, maybe there's not an adult there that can prepare the food. We're just like we just kind of like all over the place. We don't know, whether the crap will go blind. How do we calm down from that? We have to stop and actually look at and see what is going on in our individual lives so that we can start working on us, because a lot of us are broken. A lot of us are having a hard time coming up from that brokenness and finding a way to put the pieces back together, because now you got such a rage and such an anger inside of you that's the one thing that you feel like you can hold on to. That's what you own. I can own this anger. I can own this extra plate of food. I can own this extra bottle of liquor. This is what I own. This is what I have control over. And it just keeps escalating. I mean, I remember it's not funny. I remember when we were teenagers, and I know teenagers drink and smoke and do all kind of stuff because that's what teenagerhood is for, to do stupid stuff. And so one of the stupid things we would do, me and our crew, we would get one of the local winos to, go into the wine store and get us, everybody had a little bottle of wine, whatever it is they were going, we're drinking Champale, Ripple, Champipple, whatever it was. Our thing was Boone's Farm and Annie Green Springs and Pagan Pink Ripple. So, and we put them in an overnight suitcase, and we would get on the rapid. And we would ride the rapid out to the airport. This is about a good hour ride on the train. So by the time we left the bus terminal, got on the train and got to the airport, well, we drunk and we clowning up and acting up. This is when we were stupid. Okay, now we done drank up the wine. We walking around with a suitcase full of empty wine bottles, clanking all around, just waiting for the police to come over and say, "Are you all drinking? You're underage." We too stupid to know. Throw the wine bottles away. That's how dumb we would be. And I was like, mm-mm. And one of the girls we were hanging out with, she said, "I ain't got to worry about nothing." I said, what you mean? She said, "Because all my problems at the bottom of a Boone's Farm bottle." And I was like, at the time when she said it, it was funny. When it stopped being funny is when she realized that she had turned into an alcoholic. And she was fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. And she finally, only time she had stopped drinking is when she got pregnant. And that was 3 times because she got 3 kids. And she stopped. Her kids were all healthy, didn't have fetal alcohol syndrome, nothing like that. And they're wonderful, they're thriving, they're important. And she fought her way to sobriety. And we have seen it, and we've also seen people who aren't able to fight the demons of drugs and alcohol. And that comes in from, not getting your mother love, not getting your father love, not feeling like you belong, not feeling like you deserve to be loved because they're not showing you love. You can only give what you've learned. You can't teach what you don't know. You can't teach somebody how to love if you don't know how to love. You can't teach somebody how to be compassionate when you don't know how to be compassionate. I got a girlfriend. She hardcore. She is really hardcore with her kids, to the point I really had to I really had to stop being around her because I couldn't take the way she was with her kids. You can't tell people how to raise their kids, you know. And she was just so agitated about her. These are her children. These are her kids. She's agitated about them. Y'all moving too much. Sit down. Come here. Come and calling them all kind of names. These children would what the girls will be a sack of witches with a capital B. I'll call them how many I want to. They my kids. And I'm like, hey, you don't think that's going to have a adverse effect on them? Oh, they'll be all right. They'll be all right. Okay. For the sake of the conversation, she got 5 kids. She got 3 girls and 2 sons. She screams and hollers at her girls just like she can't stand them, and she always had her face balled up. I'm like, they didn't do nothing but come into the room. Okay, so I hadn't seen them for a while. So, when I go and I visit, and I wanted to see the kids, and I went to hug them. I'm telling you, they almost jumped out of their skin. Because I was like, what's the matter? She said, well, I don't know. Mama come at us like that. I don't know if she gonna hug me or hit me. That's, mm-mm, mm-mm. And it just so happened as the kids grew up, this a different girlfriend from the one that was the alcoholic. This girlfriend, she was just mean and toxic, and she didn't like anybody. And her boys, she talked about her boys, about their father, like a dog. Oh, that so-and-so, he ain't no good. Why you think he only come around here every now and then? And the boys will say, because he don't like you. That's why he don't come around. And I don't blame him. I can't wait to become an adult so I can't wait to get away from you. And usually it's the other way around. I couldn't wait to get away from my mama. Listen, my mother been off the planet for over 2 decades. I'm a grown woman and I'm a grandmother. My mother still kind of scares me. That's what she put in me and that's the kind of respect she got from us. And like she said, and a lot of powerful people say this, I'd rather be feared than loved. And I was like, that's kind of strange. I think I don't want anybody to be afraid of me. Well, I get it with your kids though. Your teenagers, you better make them afraid of you. Make them think you'll just go ape crazy on them because they want to stand toe to toe with you anyway. Tell you what to do. Wait till they become teenagers. Oh, it's gonna be a whole nother game when they become teenagers. And I couldn't wait to leave. I was like, when I leave, I am not coming back. And don't never say that because you never know what's going to happen, what your circumstances are. That's why you got to have a foundation. You have to have a foundation. It's not your mother. Your parents and the elders that are around you will put this in you when they love you, when they're concerned about you, when they don't want to see you fall through the cracks. And, when we were growing up, we grew up with a village. Everybody knew everybody. It wasn't no thing about if one of the neighbors or one of your mama's friends or your daddy's friends saw you out there cutting up. It was no thing about them snatching it out in your behind. Because if they got to snatch it out in your behind, your parents gonna know before you get home. They're going to ask you about it. As soon as you start coming out, then you're going to start lying. Then you're going to get another whooping. And then, this is what was really bad. And you done got snatched by the neighbor or snatched by one of their friends, right? Okay, you went home. They already know what's going on. And then you done got a whooping. Now she done sat down. She done got a second win. And she called all her girlfriends and her sisters and brothers. Let me tell you what this heifer did. So I'm going to jump off this step and I'm going to jump on his neck one day and he might not come up from that. See, the threats alone were, like kind of crazy. Like, I'll slap you into the middle of next week. Why can't you just smack me into tomorrow? Why I have to wait till the middle of next week? That means I got to get slapped the whole weekend? And you can't question that. You can't ask them, well, what's that about? You can't ask them that kind of stuff. And the stuff that you can ask when you're a parent, a guardian, when the kids come to you and they ask you something, be adult enough to say, I don't know if you don't know. Don't just, brush them off or come up with some cockamamie story. If you don't know, say, I don't know. Let's go find out about that together. And nowadays, people are a plethora of information. With the advert of the internet, you can find out most stuff on the internet. Sometimes it doesn't work, but I suppose that the internet is a work in progress, as it were. And some of the sites are really good and some of them are not really so good, and we have to, be able to discern which ones are going to be good for us and going to be good for you and what's going to be good for the good of the people. We don't think about that. We only think about I me, and that's all right to a point. But it can't just be about you all the time, especially when you have a family. Family has a dynamic, and that dynamic is what works for your family. What works in our family, might not be the same. My mother carried a loaded 38 in her purse, loaded. Because she said if I had to pop a cap on one of y'all, I'm going to pop a cap on all of y'all. And that's when we became teenagers, because she said, y'all too big for me to try to whoop. I'll be done had a stroke out here. Then I'll be done had a heart attack. Or I'll be done drop dead all of a sudden because I went to swing at you and miss. And so she said, y'all too big for. And she kept the peace. She only shot it off one time, and that's when there were 6 of us, and we could have one friend in the house. So that's 12 teenagers in the house. And she telling her, shut up, I done told y'all to quit making all that noise down there. We would go, and she came downstairs in her duster, with her pocketbook on her arm. She came down, she got partway in the kitchen, and she shot up in the ceiling, and the little plaster came down on my uncle's head, and you could see it just falling down. And I was like, she actually pulled the trigger. You could hear a rat pee on cotton after that. There was no fights, there was no arguing, there was no, she got us all in check. All of us in check. One time, one shot. Sometimes you have to go there. Sometimes you do. And it was just to let us know she was in control. And I was like, okay, I need to get my foundation so I can be in control. And I've worked since I was 14 years old. And I've been taking care of myself since I was 14 years old. And I knew what kind of foundation I wanted to have. I knew what kind of person I wanted to be. I knew what kind of woman I wanted to be. I went from, they say you go from, being an infant to a toddler to a child to a prepubescent, then you're a teenager, then you're a young adult, then you're a full grown adult, then you start to, you're in there. And I truly believe that adage when they say whatever you're doing by the time you're 35 is what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. You think about that. So when you're young, do stuff, go travel, get a job, understand what it's like to be out there on the grind. Because, a lot of kids nowadays still think that money just grows on trees. They think, I know my tribe thinks, my husband and I, we chew paper, drink green ink, and go into the bathroom and roll out $100 bills. I'm like, no, that's not how that works. We have to go to work and we have to, go earn a living, because kids will think, well, you don't really work. You just go someplace and then you come back. No, those are called jobs. And so, I knew I wanted to work. I knew how I wanted to dress. I knew how I wanted to present myself. And, when you're a young lady, and that's the part I skipped. I missed that part. I went from being a teenager, self-sufficient teen, and to being an adult. I skipped over ladyhood. I went right from teen to womanhood. And women listen. You know who's going to fix this mess, don't you? I know that's why the men are all got their shorts in a bunch. They feel like the fruit of the loom. The fruit is just all over them. They can't calm everything down. Because women of the world, we're going to have to fix this. Because we can fix it. We know how to make $1 out of 15 cents. We know women that can get 2 potatoes, a piece of ham hock, and some onions, and make you a big giant pot of stew, and everybody gets fed. I don't know how they do it. And they would say, well, Jesus, he had 2 bushels and two bushels and some fish, and he fed 5,000 people. I was like, okay, now that's a miracle. That's a feat right there. And I watch a lot of women in our neighborhoods and in our families because they were miracle workers, and they always have room at the table for a stranger, for somebody else. I mean, we were like the, how people, they see the stray cats and the stray dogs around the neighborhood. And, one of my girlfriends, we were just over for their dad's party. And we were like, And they're dog people. And we were like, well, who put the water bowl out here, for the dog? And so we were coming out the house, and I said, oh, he said, watch the dog bowl. And she said, oh no, that's for a cat. I said, you don't have a cat? She says, oh no, I know, but I saw him wandering around and it's so hot. And so I thought I'd put him some cool water, in the shade. But here she is thinking about, she has compassion for this stray animal. My mother had compassion for stray people. It was nothing for us to wake up with it. And we didn't sleep with our brothers and sisters. Oh, no. Most of them snored loud. But she would put babies in the bed and tell you, baby, wake up for a minute. There's a little baby at your feet. Don't kick him out the bed. Put him up, like close to you on our shoulders. I remember one time, one lady came over and she had just had a baby. I mean, the baby couldn't have been a month old. And the baby's daddy, and she had two boys. Ooh, and they was rambunctious like you would not believe. And she had a baby girl. And the baby girl's father started beating on her and threw her out the house, threw the boys out the house, just went berserk. She out here roaming around in the snow with three kids, a newborn baby. My mother gets her, brings her home, get them warmed up, get them fed, get the baby. The baby was so tiny, the baby could fit in a shoebox. But my mother took a drawer out of the dresser and made the baby a bed, so the drawer got the size up on it and everything, and put the baby there and, made a pallet for the mother, got everybody down. The next day, we had to get up. And, while they were getting the kids together, I went over to the secondhand store across the street from where we lived and, got the boys some clothes. And then we went to the, I'm going to call it. It was a store called Giant Tiger. And we went to Giant Tiger and got them underwear and shoes. And ended up staying with us for about 2 months. Till she got herself together. She got her a job. They got her a place. They got her situated. And this is what ticked me off. We go through all of that. We go through all of this. And dude finds out she got her own apartment. She take him back in. So I said, so mama, what happened if he do this again? Would you take her back? And she said, baby, I don't know. I did what I could do when I could do it. If, somebody want to be, just that crazy and want to go back to somebody that they know is abusing them, there's nothing I could do about that. And if she doesn't want the help, I'm not going to go over there and force her with the help. And after that, I didn't see him. I went away to college. I was just, and I knew I didn't want to be like that. I knew I was not going to tolerate some man hitting on me and then telling me, 5 minutes, oh, baby, I'm sorry. I got some flowers. Let me put a steak on your black eye. No, that was not going to be me. You might hit me once, but it wasn't going to happen a second time. It was not going to happen a second time. And guys know that. They know when a woman is vulnerable. They know. And oftentimes I think, guys go actually looking for women who they feel like they can run over, who feel like they can gangster. I was talking to this one black guy. I mean, I don't care who you marry. Love who you love. You got to be with who you love. And so some of the girls in the, in the area, was giving him a hard time because he had a Caucasian girlfriend. And we loved her. She was lovely. Why he got to go get that white woman? I said, why can't he just be in love with that white woman? What's wrong with that? Well, he could have picked a black woman. And this is what he told me. He said, girl, I hit him over there, y'all jerking and carrying on. And I said, did you pick her because she was white? He said, no, I picked her because she just happened to be white. He said, and I'm all the better for it. He said, because we get a bad reputation, women, especially strong black women. That's like a cuss word to some men. Oh, she's a strong black woman. She'll emasculate me. She'll take away my manhood. We can't do that. That's like you telling me you gonna take away my womanhood. You gonna make me yeah, right. If that's what you think gonna help you sleep at night, you gonna have nightmares after that. And so he said, because black women are so angry. All the ones I met, they're so angry. And then they want to hold on to the past. Okay, for the sake of the conversation, say his name is Robert. Okay, so Robert got to listen to his girlfriend tell him about how bad her ex-boyfriend or her ex-husband was to her. What man wants to hear that crap? I mean, isn't that why you're not in that relation? Because it did not work. So why do you think that's fair for you to bring that baggage into the relationship? What's the girl name? I think it's Lauren Hill. Did she the one that did the song Bag Lady? Unpack your bag. Leave that baggage back there. Why are you taking the past and trying to live in the present with it and then take it to the future? That's like a lose-lose for everybody. And in a relationship, it's ought to be a win-win. But understand this, it's not going to always be like that because unfortunately, unfortunately, love is not fair. It is not fair when there are times when you want to give 100% and you just don't feel like it. Then don't do it. I get up every day. First thing I do is I thank God for Jesus for letting me wake up clothed in my right mind. Okay, almost clothed in my right mind, but I'm close enough, right? And I thank God. And then I hear Satan say, "Ah, she up again. Don't get on the way from my door. Move out the way." And how am I going to make this better today? How am I going to have a fun time today? And I'm so grateful that my husband the older he's got, the sillier he is. See, I always knew it was in there. He's the jokester now. And we just laugh all the time. Even when we be in an argument. Well, we don't argue. We have very heated discussions. That's what we have. And so I remember when we were dating, he would actually bring his friends over to my mother's house. And he said, "Now you gonna see a show." I'm just saying. This is going to be like no other house you have ever been in your life. I can guarantee you that. And so he would tell his friends, "Okay, now don't get involved in the conversation. You might want to get involved in the conversation. And it's going to get to a fever pitch. You're going to hear yelling and screaming. People going to be jumping up on furniture, standing up on chairs." He said, "Just don't get engaged with it." And lo and behold, because that's how we're very animated. I come from a very animated family, very funny people. A lot of my siblings were way funnier than I am. And so now, since they went on home to glory, I take all their material because they are hilarious. And we just laugh even when we are having a heated discussion. We were having one the other day about politics. Okay, like women are supposed to have a view about politics, and I have a very strong view about my political. My political. It's a word. I'll find it. It'll come to me in a sleep. And we're having this discussion, and all of a sudden, we just looked at each other and bust out laughing because it was like, I don't know why we all riled up about this. We don't have to be riled up about this. We just cracked up. And you got to have laughter in your life somewhere. You got to be happy. Make your joy. And just don't let anybody take it from you. And it's so easy to do. It's so easy to get caught up in this negative energy. You have to make the choice. You have to be the one to say, "This is my line in the sand. I'm not going to cross it." And don't just keep moving your line and moving your line. Stay true to yourself. Be honest with yourself. If you, like I tell people, I'm a good actress. If I wanted to be an actor, I would have been an actor. And I'm a good actress because I act like I like people I don't. I used to. Now I just tell them I ain't even gotta be bothered with you. I had somebody reach out to me on one of the social media sites, talk about, "How you doing, mother love? I ain't heard from you in a long time." And I sent them back an email saying, "And this is going to be the last time you hear from me. Don't try to reach out to me." Because he a low down, dirty, scheming, conniving, doggish man. He is. He mistreats women. He's rude and disrespectful to them. He think they should be there at his every beck and call. And if she not gonna do what I want her to do, well then she gonna do what I tell her to do. So you don't want to be with an adult woman. You want to be with somebody you can bully. Is that what it is? And that's what he thought about me. Like he thought he was gonna bully me. And I'm like, dude, I ain't scared of you. You better understand. See, what you don't understand is, yes, my husband is he's an even-tempered, for the most part, a quiet man. Don't mess with his family. Because you'll come up missing, and you'll come up missing, and he'll be the one leading the search for your body. I'm just saying, that's the kind. Don't mess with his family. You don't mess with his friends. Because this is one of them kind of cats that if you saw him and a bear in a fight, you get a bear stick because he gonna open up a can on that bear. He don't play. And I've only seen him that, and he really wasn't angry. He was angry and he was upset, but he didn't show it. I guess he saved up all his strength because one of his closest friends, had an accident and he broke his hand. And he broke his hand, and then I guess people wanted to take advantage of him. Well, somebody stole his watch. And he had one of them real nice watches. We in college, and he got a watch probably cost $400-$500. I was like, can we pawn that? That's my thing. Can we pawn that? And he was telling my husband, what happened, and somebody took his watch, and it was a distinctive watch. Okay, well, the dude who took the watch was stupid. Told you teenagers do stupid stuff. Dude that took the watch, he stole his watch, had the nerve to show up walking down the yard with the man's watch on. So my husband said, he walked up to him and he said, man, that's not your watch. Give it to me. That's not your watch. He said, how you know this ain't my watch? He said, because that's my brother's watch. And you going to give me my brother's watch. And he said, no, I'm not. My husband is a southpaw. He hit the guy so hard that the crystal popped off the watch and it came off his arm. He didn't hit the guy on his arm. He hit the guy on the chin. This guy, I know he saw stars, and he just picked up the watch, and he was able to put the crystal back on the watch, and was walking down the hallway, and I saw him from a distance, and I didn't hear what was going on. I saw him swing at the guy, and I saw the guy buckle, and I was walking toward him. Myself. Oh my God. Don't you ever get that mad at me, and don't you ever think you could hit me. He said, I would never hit a woman. My mother's a woman. I have sisters. I would never hit a woman. And you, my girl, I like you. What would I? No. No. That would. And he was just so calm. And I was like, at that time, I wasn't scared, but I was a little nervous. I was like, and after we really got to know each other and everything, he's that when you see him and he is getting that look in his eye, I just get out the way. I just move because I don't want to. My name is Bess, and I don't want to be in that mess. I don't even want to be a witness. I don't even want to be a witness. Because then you got to tell stuff. You got to let people know what's going on, what the deal is. And, when we were growing up, all the neighbors could tell on you, but you better not say nothing to anybody about what goes on in your house. And they'll know if one of the kids told it. We were told, you don't spread people business. I don't want to hear what Miss Smith did over there. I don't want to hear what Mr. Jackson did over there. And they better not hear anything coming out this house. And you knew not to do that. Not to do. Now they tell everything. And you would think with us sharing so much information, we would be a lot better at this human kindness. We would be a lot smarter at being compassionate. We would be a lot more compassionate and impassioned when it's our family. And we got to start looking at each other like family again. And we don't. It's like me and my four and no more. So what happens when your numbers start dwindling? You got to keep people in your life. Make sure you got good friends. And friends are the ones that go to the wall for you. The difference between a good friend and a great friend. This is a good friend. You call her up and be, girl, I done passed him in the head. I think he did. He laid in the floor. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. I done hit him in the head. She said, don't touch nothing. Don't touch nothing. Don't talk to anybody. I'm on my way right now. Don't touch nothing. Nothing. Don't just wait there. I'll be there. Great girlfriend. Girl, I done bashed him in the head. I think he did. I don't know what to do. She'll say, don't worry. I'm coming with the plastic and the shovel. And I got good girlfriends that's going to come for the plastic and the shovel. And that's just metaphorically speaking, because I would never strike up another human being. I wouldn't do that. But sometimes you got to learn, to keep people up off of you. And, you got to let them know where your metal is and that you're not afraid of them. We don't need to live in fear. You know what fear stands for? False evidence appearing real. We don't have to take the false evidence. We don't have to hold on to a grudge that happened 25, 35, 55 years ago. I shared a story with you all one time about when I was doing the talk show many years ago, and there was a set of identical twin sisters. And they crack me up when people say, it was two twins. Y'all, twins only come in two. If it's three, they're called triplets. But they crack me up. Well, the two twins. So anyway, these twins, um, were, I mean, they're grown ups, and one of them was having I think I'm gonna say they were having like their 50th birthday party. No, 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 they were younger than that. They were having, we'll say for the sake of the conversation, their 30th birthday party, and they were throwing this big bash, and they were all excited about it. Well, one sister, we'll say Sister A, she is the one that's throwing the party. Sister B, she is the twin. She's the other twin, and they're all excited. Well, Sister B, she had got a promotion, and she got the job and the promotion that she had been working for years. Finally got the promotion, and it started. She had to go like to a training session because she was going to be a higher up in her company. So she had to go to a training. It was like a 4-day weekend. Like she left on Thursday and she came back Sunday night. Well, don't you know, Sister A said, I can't believe, she called and said, I finally got my job, girl. I got my job. I got my job. And she telling them, all the particulars. And, she got to go on this, 4-day learning retreat. And the Sister A said to her, you not coming to our birthday party? You going to a job? You going to throw off our birthday party? Oh, I can't believe you being that selfish. Oh, so now both of them got kids. So she's supposed to blow off a job that she had been working to get, blow off an opportunity that she was working toward having to come to a birthday party that's going to last a day. Y'all going to have many, many birthdays after that. Birthday girl A, said, well, you go to your job. I don't care no more. I'm having my party. So she had the party. Everybody, was saying, well, where is she? Was she on a retreat? Because that was more important to her than, than her family. And people was like looking at her like sideways, like, okay, she got a job. She got kids. You can have a birthday next year. What's the deal? They did not speak until they really didn't speak. Their kids were grown. Okay, so the kids from both sisters had sent a letter to the show and said they want to get their mothers together because they were used to be really, really close. And now they had said, no, Sister A told Sister B, I don't want you around them. I don't want you nowhere near them. You ain't going to visit them. You ain't going to have nothing to do with them. But the kids was like, they sneaking around and hang out with their cousins. Well, they got the sisters together. They came on the show, and Sister A, the party girl, she didn't want to come through the door. And so when the door first opened and she wasn't there, and we were listening to her story, and she said, well, I can't believe that she would have did that. And the other sister said, well, I can't believe you'd have held a grudge like that for 20-something years. And we were like, So you know me. I didn't shame. Yes, I did. I shamed her into being that way about her sister. That's your flesh and blood. You gonna hold a grudge like this because you mad about a birthday party that happened a long time ago. You let that fester. You let that ruin relationships. You let that. You let that have your family disjointed from that. That's what you do. That's what you do. So she said, okay. So we went to commercial break. We said, now you thinking about this? We're going to try this one more again. So our sister goes to the door. They open the door. She's standing there and she's seeing her sister. It was like she had seen her sister, like for the first time. The Sister A, who had the grudge, as soon as the door opened up, she started crying. And it was just we was just waterheads through and through. Everybody was crying. They was crying. I was crying. Audience was crying. The crew was crying. The grips was crying. We had grown men back there crying. I mean, this is how serious it was for her to get that out of her. That you could move an audience like that to the point that you make everybody cry because it was like all of us had a weight lifted off of us, And that's what I want y'all to do. Wear light, lift the weight, Look for the joy, find the joy. And if you can't find it in you, go do something nice for somebody else. Not because you have to, but because you can. I am Dr. Mother Love. Thank you so much for listening to me. You be blessed and have a wonderful, wonderful rest.